Hello, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this T-shirt says the world doesn't need more Jesus preached, it needs more Jesus lived. And I'm afraid that that's the situation with the world, that a lot of people are preaching Jesus on the streets and saying that Jesus is the answer. Well, Jesus isn't so much the answer. Jesus is who we should be to people. We should be the answer. And I agree that Jesus is an answer, but very few Christians actually live the teachings of Jesus. They believe in Jesus, but they don't practice what he taught. So this video is going to be a summation of my understanding of the end times. I personally believe, although the world is getting pretty dark and it seems pretty desperate, I believe that the world has got 20 to 30 years left. I want to say at the outset, at the very beginning here, that I don't believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. I don't necessarily even believe in a 7-year tribulation. What I believe is that the Christian church who are living, the people who are living at the moment, will go through the tribulation, will go through the judgments of God, and Christians living right now will face the Antichrist, face the mark of the beast. A book that will give you great understanding in that area, and give you a whole lot of scripture references to support that worldview, is a book called Not Afraid of the Antichrist. And I'll put the book by Michael L. Brown. I'll put the book reference under this video in the description tag. You can read that book. I'm sure that many of you who tune in, if you're strangers to my internet channel, if you're not someone who has heard me before, you'll probably be shocked with me saying that I don't believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. I personally believe that we have to go through the tribulation. I feel some things have got to happen before we see Christ return again. It says in Isaiah 60 that the glory of the Lord is going to be seen on his people, and it says in Isaiah 60 that great darkness is going to be seen in the land. Isaiah 59 also speaks of a great darkness where people are groping in the dark. You can see the world coming into that great darkness now. You can see the world going crazy and Christian values not being respected in any way, and the Bible not really being respected. Even among Christians, there's rampant sex before marriage, and there's rampant sin, and you'll find, if you look at the statistics for pornography, for instance, I've been involved in pornography myself, and you'll see that over 50% of Christian men are addicted to pornography, and the world is in like a sad state of repair, and the Christian world is suffering. I personally believe that we're going to see two people, not two companies of people, not prophets after modeled after Elijah, but I personally believe that we're going to see a physical Elijah and a physical Enoch come to the world and be the two witnesses. I believe that they're going to prophesy and do miracles and signs and wonders. I believe they're going to be on earth at the same time as the Antichrist and the false prophet. And I sort of half think that the world is going to think the Antichrist and the false prophet are the two witnesses, and the two witnesses are going to be believed to be the false prophet and the Antichrist. I could be wrong there, but I sort of have felt that for a number of years, and I've got a friend who I'm close to that agrees with most things that I believe in, and he's of the same opinion. I I believe that in the last days, um, there's going to be a harvest, and a great harvest. I'm not sure if I believe that uh, the Bob Jones prophecy of a billion soul harvest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the current Christian church could save anyone. To be honest, so many people in the church lack discipline and lack holiness. There certainly isn't um, any focus on evangelism. There's no real desire for the average Christian to save anyone, and they make that quite understandable. They run after the things of the world, and they run after fashion, and the modern Christian really isn't set apart and holy, and so I find it difficult to believe that a billion people could be solved, could be saved by the current church. I understand that the 144,000 spoken of in Revelation, in two parts in Revelation, I believe if that number of people were certainly fired up and could operate in the gifts of the Spirit and the powers of the age to come, I believe that they could go off and save a lot of people, a multitude of people. I believe that a multitude of people are going to be saved in these last days, and I understand that the separate amount of people, the 144,000 people that labour in these last days, whether that be a literal 144,000 or whether that be a whole company of people more than 144,000, it doesn't really. I believe it's more than 144,000, but it doesn't really matter. Uh, we don't have to focus on that. But I believe if there was a lot of people with my heart, with my attitude, with my understanding, with my love for people, if we were mobilized financially and mobilized and given opportunity, we could save a lot of people. I believe that 144,000, each of them, whether they're 144,000 or 5 million people, whatever they are, I believe each of them will shine with the glory of God. The glory of God will be on their skin, so that people are attracted to them, that they stand out, they have like a pregnant woman's glow, and little children and homeless people and poor people and sick people will be attracted to them, and they'll be able to manifest the power of God and the healing power of God and be able to fix problems and demonstrate God's kingdom on earth. And I believe that this army of sons and daughters, I don't like to use the term sons and daughters because it's been hijacked by people who have little understanding of what a real son is. But this army of people is going to rise up, and they'll be shining with the sun. They'll be shining like the sun, and it'll attract people. They'll go into like a city street, and it'll be like they're Michael Jackson or Princess Diana. The crowds will gather, and they'll perform miracles and do signs and wonders. And I sense that that is going to happen in every country in the world. And Satan isn't going to be able to counterfeit this light. He's not going to be able to do a duplicate. Witchcraft isn't going to be able to do it. And at the same time as these 144,000 or 5 million, however many this army is, at the same time that they're saving people and going out and preaching the gospel and bringing the kingdom to earth, the Antichrist will be elected, and he'll come to power, and the army of the Lord will be saving people. The Antichrist will be leading people astray. Many people doubted that they could come out with a mark of the beast, but in current times, you can see how they're enforcing their vaccine on everyone, and you can see when the mark of the beast really comes, it won't be an option, and the governments of those times will be able to enforce things, and it truly could be the fact that you may lose your head and have your head guillotined for not accepting the mark of the beast. I sense that the enemy, Satan, wants to get this fight going. I sense that he wants this final showdown with the Antichrist to be sooner rather than later. I personally believe if Hillary had got in, I personally believe we would have had a female Antichrist, and people would argue that point. I sort of have reached a stage in my humility and reached a stage in my relationship with God that I don't particularly enjoy arguing with people. I could be wrong. There could be a rapture before the tribulation. Not afraid of the Antichrist. All the scriptures in that book could be wrong, and there could be a pre-tribulation rapture, and I could be taken in this pre-tribulation rapture, but I highly doubt it. And here's the other point: if I'm wrong and I am raptured before hard times come, then I'll be safe. I'll be in heaven, and I'll be okay. But if everyone who believes in a pre-tribulation rapture doesn't prepare themselves, isn't set apart, isn't holy, isn't obeying Jesus, doesn't know the voice of God, can't understand or be directed by the Holy Spirit each day, if each of those people are left and the world closes in on them, they're going to be in a very sad and desperate position. And many of them, many Christians in the future are going to take the mark of the beast. There's going to be popular preachers who will come out with different arguments saying that the Greek was different and it doesn't really say that. And they'll have convincing arguments that say that you can take the mark of the beast and you'll still go to heaven and God understands, and you'll have heaps of Christians taking the mark of the beast. The thing that people don't recognize in the book of Revelation is there's a thing in the book of Revelation called the seal of God. And the seal of God was put on a certain amount of people. And it says that those hornets come out and stung people. And they stung everyone except the people who had the seal of God on their forehead. And so if I were you, if I was a person uh, who wanted to research the book of Revelation, I'd check out the seal of God and work out what you need to do in order to have the seal of God. I think Malachi 3:16 to 18 speaks about people who are going to be saved by God, people who fear the Lord and who are going to be saved by God. But I'd find out, if I were you, what the seal of God is, because only those people are going to be safe in the last days. So I've been skipping around the book of Revelation here a little bit. I don't believe the world has got 200 years left, like Kat Kerr says. There's quite a number of things that Kat Kerr shares and preaches as sound doctrine that isn't sound doctrine, according to me. I think some of her understandings and stuff are heretical and dangerous for people, but certainly the 200-year thing could get a lot of people in trouble. A lot of Cat Kerr followers might want to be ready in the next 10 or 20 years to face some trauma and trouble, rather than thinking everything's going to be fine. There's certain people who like people in Bethel and other people who believe in a thing called dominionism, who believe that the world is going to get better and better and better, and Christians are going to rule on the 7 mountains of influence, and they're going to take up leadership positions in all the areas of influence in the world, and Christians are going to rule and dominate the world and reign and turn the world into heaven on earth. And that's a dangerous doctrine, and it's not true. And once again, I haven't got lots of scriptures to prove that's the case, that it's not true, but it certainly isn't true. And Isaiah 60 shares that there's going to be a great darkness come to the world. And if you look at Isaiah 59, it talks about this great darkness too, the chapter before. And so we're headed for dark times, and you're going to have to be supernatural ministry and walking in the glory of the Lord. It says in Scripture that the glory of the Lord will be known as the earth, as the ocean covers the sea. The knowledge of the glory of the Lord will be known by everyone. So we're going to have not only have people demonstrate the glory of the Lord, but the glory of the Lord will be understood by non-Christians for what it is. And that's a long way coming. I'm slowly coming to understand what glory means as glory manifests in my life. I'm slowly just starting to understand little bits about what glory is. But in days to come, in years to come, even non-Christians will understand what glory is, and there'll be a knowledge of the glory of the Lord from sea to sea. And it says that in, I think it's Habakkuk or some verse in the some passage in the Bible. So there's good times coming, and there's bad times coming. The world is certainly getting more and more prevalent and evil. You can't even call a girl these days. You can't even. I got in trouble on a train the other day with a woman when I said the world turns on the knowledge of men. And the girl said, "Why is it the knowledge of men? Why not women?" And I said, "Well, I mean men as in mankind." And she says, "Well, even in mankind, there's the word man." And you just can't win. And the world is getting considerably more uh, uh, violent and understanding. People aren't going to understand the Christian ethic anymore, and things are going to really turn quite dark for people. So I hope you understand that that we've got a few years left. Certainly not in the next 5 or 10 years. That Jesus is going to come back. I don't believe. There's plenty of things that have to happen. I once wrote a book, Optimistic Visions of Revelation, and in that book I said that Jesus isn't going to come back until I've written the 50 books that he told me I would write. Well, I've written 60 books now, so I've written all those books that I saw in a vision. But I've got a friend, I've got someone I know in India that's got about 500 churches, and he's meant to have 2,000 churches. So um, I'm not sure how many he's got now, but um, I'm sure that we've got 10 to 20 years. Once again, as the Lord continues to humble me, I have to become more and more open to being wrong about things. And so I could be wrong about the years. I could be wrong saying that we've got at least 20 to 30 years left before Jesus returns. You're certainly not going to see Jesus return until you see the two witnesses on earth. And I believe when the two witnesses are killed in the streets, as it says in Revelation 11, they're going to stay unburied on the streets for 3 days, and then there's going to be cameras on them, and the world's going to be having like a Christmas party, giving each other gifts and having a fun time because the prophets really tormented the world. And then the cameras are going to see the two witnesses rise from the dead and rise up into the skies. And as they go up into the skies, Jesus is going to come down and meet them. And that'll be the second coming of the Lord. And those who are still alive will meet them in the air. And then Jesus, I believe, will then descend and go to Jerusalem and put out the fight, and he'll establish his kingdom. That's what I believe is going to happen. That seems to be supported by Michael L. Brown in Not Afraid of the Antichrist. I really encourage you, if you've watched this video, to buy Michael L. Brown's book, Not Afraid of the Antichrist, and get some scriptural understanding into understanding that you're not going to disappear off this earth before trouble comes. And you've got to build yourself up in the most holy faith, so you're not afraid of the Antichrist. You're not afraid of what's coming. I pray that this has been a blessing to you. And if you like this video, press like. If you didn't like it, press thumbs down. If you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment. God bless.